Have you or somebody you know experienced the effects of obesity as a child or as an adult? This country is at record highs with obesity, and for many Americans, it threatens their everyday lives. The latest national survey of children's health finds that 16.2% of U.S. youth ages 10 to 17 have obesity. In adults, about 37% are obese. And as a society, we have neglected this pandemic. You talk about COVID, but this is a huge pandemic affecting people every day. And the health effects that come with it are very alarming. There are both long-term and short-term consequences for being obese, suffering from obesity. And the fact is that obesity often stays with individuals as they get older. So if you experience obesity as a child, you're likely to grow up obese and continue this trend of obesity, and it can be life-threatening. But is there anything we could do to prevent this pandemic, to slow the spread of this obesity? And the answer is yes. There are very simple things we can implement in our daily lives to combat this problem. But the consequences of childhood obesity specifically are alarming, both short-term and long-term. Some short-term consequences of obesity are teasing and bullying, poor quality of life, high blood pressure. According to ABC of obesity in children, quote, many obese patients seeking medical care experience teasing and bullying and will have low self-esteem or poor quality of life. Pediatric obesity is also associated with many other comorbid conditions. And so there's also long-term effects that come with this problem of obesity. You're very likely to become obese as an adult, as I already said. Premature death, more prone to diseases. We saw in this COVID thing that obese people suffered from harsh consequences of COVID. Harsher, at least. And, you're more prone to disease when you're obese. Another thing that comes long term is depression. So there's a mental side of it also, of this obesity. According to Stephen R., likewise, obesity is linked with many disorders of the metabolic system. Such disorders, seen primarily in adulthood, are now appearing in children. Even when the disorders do not present themselves in childhood obesity or being overweight increases the risk of their developing in adulthood. Much the same generalization applies to the obesity-related disorders in other bodily systems. So there are ways to prevent this from happening. And as you see, the effects of childhood obesity can be detrimental to one's health, could even lead to death. So what can we do to slow the spread? What are some things we can do, implement in our lives to slow the spread? Limiting phone time is the number one thing that leads to helping obesity. And we're in an age where we just sit on our phones all day, and it's detrimental to our health. This will induce weight loss, better sleep, higher grades in school, and ultimately it will remove the eating habits that you have while sitting on your phone, getting that cookies or potato chips that you want when you're sitting down on your phone. More exercise is also a very important step in combating this problem, and it's recommended that we exercise for an hour a day. It prevents obesity, promotes strong muscle and bone health, and it also promotes good heart health. Another big thing we need to take into account is parental guidance. Guiding your children to get that exercise they need, doing it as a family, cooking healthy meals in the house. It all starts in the home. Cooking healthy meals in the house and promoting good eating habits. According to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, there are 4 things families can do to prevent obesity among children. Quote, adopting healthy eating patterns as a family helps children reach and maintain a healthy weight as they age. In young people, too much screen time can lead to poor sleep, weight gain, lower grades in school, and poor mental health. Physically active youth have stronger muscles and bones, better cardiovascular fitness, and lower body fat than those who are inactive. Children aged 3 to 5 years should be physically active throughout the day. Children 6 to 17 years need at least an hour of physical activity every day. Unquote. So we know that obesity leads to these terrible health outcomes. It can lead to death, depression as you get older. But the good news is that we have ways to prevent it. Very easy things to do. Discipline eating habits, discipline your exercise habits. As a parent, implement these habits. And so it's an issue that should be important to every American. You don't want your friends dying from this. You don't want family dying. And most of us have experienced this problem in our lives, either personally or in the family. And the most alarming thing is that it's happening on such a fast scale that can be prevented. And because of this speech, I hope I made to you aware the health outcomes that could come from it and easy ways to prevent it. Thank you.